Insurance is a topic that no one teaches us in school. If you're lucky, your parents have explained the basics to you. Probably you're among the majority who's not aware of the topic until someone like me comes along by accident. I'm from the space industry. One thing we do is to mitigate risks against all sorts of hazards like radiation and extreme temperature variations. So we sometimes build redundant systems, kind of an insurance. If a rocket launch fails, the loss of hundreds of millions of dollars can lead to existential crisis for the launch provider and the companies that rely on the satellites. That's when insurance steps in and covers the costs. The same principle applies to you and me. Our lives can blow up in an instant. It only takes one accident or one medical diagnosis. Suddenly you must deal with the emotional stress and an existential financial crisis. You want to be prepared for the worst case. There's one question that I ask before I buy into an insurance package. Will this save me from an existential crisis? If I accidentally hurt someone in traffic and I get medical bills for the rest of my life, that's gonna ruin me. This is what I want insurance for. If I accidentally break my phone, I can afford getting a new one. Even as a student, you can get an inexpensive new phone with monthly payments. Insurance isn't necessary here. The problem is there are dozens of insurances. It can be overwhelming to even start looking into this topic. Don't worry, I've broken the most common insurances down into two categories. Ones that will protect you from an existential financial crisis and ones that don't. I'll give you some tips and info about the costs. Let's start. In Germany, health insurance is mandatory, as in many other countries too. There's a good reason for that. Many medical issues can cost several thousand euros per year. If you're an employee in Germany, you're insured in one of the statutory insurance companies. The insurance fee you pay depends on your income. It's a solidary system in which everyone pays a different amount but is treated equally. If you're self-employed, you're a student, or if you're an employee with an annual salary above a certain threshold, you may switch to a private health insurance company. Here the fee depends on factors like your age and your health status. It can be significantly lower than for the statutory insurance. It is also known for covering more special demands than the state insurance. But there are pitfalls. A bad contract can lead to serious financial problems when you're getting older, for example, and the fees keep increasing. Please get professional help before you switch to private health insurance. Personal liability insurance covers damage that you inflict on property or people, only if it wasn't intentional, of course. It just takes a second to cause damage that can financially ruin your life. It is very unlikely, I know, and that's why you can get personal liability insurance for just 30 euros per year. On top, it's even deductible from tax. You can add your partner and your children to your contract for a tiny additional fee. This is a must-have insurance. You can walk through life in a relaxed manner. There are some other nice-to-have cases where liability insurance comes in handy. I've seen people break their friend's smartphone and other stuff. The insurance covers that partially or fully. Among most experts, occupational disability insurance is a must-have insurance. Let me explain that with an example. My dad was diagnosed with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, at the age of 50. You know, the disease Stephen Hawking had. It must have been the year 2010. I had just finished college. My mom didn't work at the time. Just imagine, from one day to another, life completely changes. You have the emotional stress, but also you can't work anymore. Where will you get your money from? Health insurance may cover the medical bills, but who pays for rent and your living expenses? The state provides a very small amount. Most people wouldn't have a choice but to change their lifestyle completely, move to a cheaper apartment and live with the bare minimum. Luckily, my parents had their own apartment and they had enough money to sustain themselves. Both my parents passed away after 7 difficult years, but at least they didn't have to worry about money during that time. Are you in a good financial position to take care of yourself? If not, you want to make sure that you don't have to change everything in your life when you can't work anymore. Occupational disability insurance will continue to pay salary if you're disabled. You can already get one for about 50 euros per month, but it can also be much more expensive. The earlier you get it, the better. Why? If you're young and healthy, you get a better offer. The cost of the contract depends on many factors, like the salary you need to sustain your lifestyle. I could do a whole video on this topic alone. For today, my message is this: strongly consider this insurance. Inform yourself well about the details and pitfalls and get professional help. We're not done in the category of existential insurances. Here's a quick summary of important insurances for special cases. If you have a motorized vehicle like a car, you must be insured. There are two insurance components that you can deal with separately. The motor vehicle liability insurance covers damage inflicted by your vehicle, damage to other vehicles or property or people. This is mandatory. Then there's voluntary comprehensive insurance, which covers damage to your vehicle. Check if partial or full coverage suits you better. If you own a house or an apartment, it's strongly recommended that you have buildings insurance. It covers damage to your property, like fire for example. It doesn't cover what's damaged inside your property though, like your furniture. The cost depends on the features of your property, the risks around your property, and the threats that you want to include in a policy. Are you a homeowner? You have a big mortgage, you have income, and you have a family? If you die today, can your family cope with the financial burden? If not, then go and get yourself life insurance. For an insured sum of 100,000 euros, policies start as little as 30 euros per year. If you have children, experts recommend disability insurance for children. More than 500,000 children in Germany are disabled. That's about 5% of children under the age of 16. Close to 200,000 are severely disabled. Disabled children require special care and can change your life. You may have to stop working. You may have to make changes to your house. That can mean severe financial problems. Then imagine that the child may never be able to work and earn money. Here, disability insurance for children steps in. For example, your child can receive a lifelong pension of 1,000 euros. Policies start at little above 100 euros per year. For some professions like doctors or lawyers, a professional liability insurance is either mandatory or highly recommended. If you have certain animals like a dog, you need insurance. If you're a hunter, you need insurance. If you fly a drone in Germany, insurance is mandatory. I can't list all special cases, but I think you get the idea that in many cases insurance is mandatory. Let's talk about the second category of insurances, ones that cover cases that aren't existence-threatening. Do you need those? In most cases, not really. It may be better to put your money aside in general to cover threats from who knows where. But of course, you need to decide for yourself. Legal protection insurance covers legal fees, for example, costs for a lawyer in the court. There are different legal areas that you need to select for your policy. Depending on that, you can pay between 50 and 300 euros per year. A legal dispute can cost a few thousand euros. In most cases, it won't ruin you financially though. Whenever you book a vacation online, the provider wants to sell you travel health insurance. I mean, 20 euros per year don't sound much, but do you really need that insurance? Where are you traveling to? Your statutory and private health insurance may already cover the costs for the regions that you visit. Check your policy first, then decide if you want to pay a little extra for travel insurance that covers extreme cases like a return transport. Do you really need travel cancellation insurance and baggage insurance? How often do you travel and how expensive are your vacations? Is it really a problem if you have to cancel a trip on short notice once in your life? Can you easily replace what's in your baggage? A premium insurance package that covers everything may cost a little above 50 euros per year. In 40 years, that's still 2,000 euros. It's not even clear if you're ever going to activate that amount. Even if so, is the difference so high that it's worth paying for annual insurance? I don't think so. Statutory health insurance covers the cost for the basic needs. If you want something extra, you can get supplementary insurance. A typical example is extra coverage for teeth. Teeth treatment can become very expensive with age. Good dentures aren't fully covered by the statutory health insurance, but they also won't ruin you financially. Insurance here is like placing a bet for a case that isn't existence-threatening. Should you insure your smartphone, bicycle, or other things against damage or theft? Things that cost in the order of 1,000 euros more or less. If you think there are severe risks and you have something very expensive, then maybe. But to most people, I'd say put a little money aside in case you need to replace something. Probably you're better off than paying for several insurances. Accident insurance is among the less recommended ones. You get money depending on the level of disability after an accident. In more than 90% of cases, people can't continue to work because of a disease, not an accident. Plus, employees are already insured at work and even on their way to work. Children are insured in school. You would only insure against accidents in your private life. I highly recommend looking into occupational disability insurance instead. If you're self-employed though, accident insurance is something that you should have a look at. Household insurance covers things that are inside your home. Not the home itself, but your furniture and valuables. I've seen several people who benefited from household insurance after a theft. You can get a lot of money back. The insurance costs as little as 50 euros per year, but depending on what it shall cover, the fee can go up to a few hundred euros. Here's my thought. If you're a student and you don't have anything valuable in your place, there's no need for this insurance. If you have jewelry and other expensive things in your place, then it's surely worth considering. I can't list all insurances, but I want to give you one example for something that you don't need at all unless you have a very specific scenario. Take for example glass breakage insurance. In the very unlikely case that glass breaks in your place, I think you'll be able to get it replaced without financially ruining yourself. If you have very expensive large glass doors and your kids play soccer right in front of them every day, even though you tell them to go somewhere else, okay, maybe go ahead with this insurance. Let me know which insurance you're seriously thinking about getting after watching this video. Is there any other life management related topic that you want to learn more about? Let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay safe and see you soon.